Yes, guys, it's Danny Glover from FightFanTvNetwork, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club, and we are here to talk about the results of last night. I'm here in sunny Southampton, down on the south coast, and was here for the Queensberry show last night at the St Mary's football stadium for Ryan Garner versus Michael Magnesi at super featherweight. So for the WBC interim title, Michael Magnesi ranked #1, and yeah, it was a very good fight. But let's talk about let's get into the main event first, actually, since we are onto this. So Michael Magnesi had only been beaten twice, beaten by Rikishi, and then also lost a split decision to Anthony Kakachi. He lost a split decision a few years ago, back in 2023 or 2021, something like that. But yes, big entrance, fire going and all that kind of stuff. The crowd all packed it, the crowd all getting very lively. I will say, so the crowd, half of the stadium was covered like with the black sheets, and then some of the corners, even in the other end, were covered as well. So I know on the site it says the capacity is 32,100 and something, so let's just say 32,000 capacity. I would say overall at main event time there would have been like 8,500, 9,000, yeah, because it would have had some on that side, quite a few on the front end, and then you got to add in the pitch as well. So I'd say probably about 9,000, yeah, 8,500 to 9,000, 9,500 max. I don't think there was like 12 or 13,000. If someone said there were 10,000, I'll go okay, but that is now now there's no more. There's definitely, there weren't 11, but I'd predict like 8,500 to 9, 10 at the max. And I don't even think it was 10, because then that would be like 1/3. But then you see, when they say full capacity, do they include the pitch usually? Because in that pitch thing, so yeah, let's just say 9,500 or 9,750. I'm sure Frank might come out of it, or someone from Queensberry. But yeah, that's just the crowd. Saw some faces that I hadn't seen in years. Saw Tony Hill down there. A couple other boxers from Southampton who used to box for Golden Ring. A couple of Portsmouth dudes like from Moneyfields and the Pool area. And shout out to Naomi Sullivan. Very good to see her, looking very well. She looks like she's recovered now. She's got the gold finger wave thing going, so yeah, big ups to her. So good to see her down there. And yeah, the fight from straight off, both men were like ripping in shots from the opening round to the body and head. Magnesi was, what he was doing, he was getting caught back on the ropes, but as Garner was coming in, he was catching Garner with big headshots. So some of them was like, you could see Garner's feeling them, but the adrenaline and the determination is just plowing him forward, and he's landing. And then he started landing a few combination shots in round 3. The crowd's getting going. And I noticed in round 2, what he started doing is landing this very long right hand, which was catching a target. Usually those type of shots are the ones that put people out, because it's like full extension. But Magnesi, his head is tough as nails. Like, he took some very big shots. He started catching. He got rocked a couple of times. I think it was like round 5 and round 9. He got stunned a bit. But other than that, he was able to. It was a good war. We're back and forth. Both men had their moments, and it was a very good fight. Garner got the decision. The scorecards was 119. No. Yeah, 119-109, which I think was a bit too wide. That was from Kieran McCann, British judge, and then the other two judges were Italian, actually. or the other one might have been Spanish, but I think the Italian judge definitely, Guido Cavalieri, he had it 116, 112, and then this the third judge, I'm sure he was Italian as well, but he had it 118, 110, but he possibly might have been Spanish. I need to probably look him up. His name was Jorge Luciano something. Yeah, forgot his surname, top of my head. But yeah, Magnesi moves on now. Good guys in division super featherweight, stacked. So we'll see where he goes there. I know he says he wants a world title fight. Shouted at his fans, if it wasn't for them, these type of fights wouldn't be happening in the stadium. Frank's putting on these stadium fights, annually. He's getting these guys out in their stadium fights, guys you wouldn't necessarily think, like Ryan Garner. So you had Fabio Wardley at Portman Road, Ipswich. I know Dave Allen had a stadium fight, but obviously that was Eddie Hearn. But no, sorry, and there was a woman fight, but that wasn't Frank Warren either. But the stadium ones, they're catching on. They're catching on around the country, so it's good. A lot of the football fans of Southampton FC, some of them were even season ticket holders. I heard some of them talking around in that. And a lot of guys, they're drinking their beer, pie and a pint and a packet, the old deal when they're in the toilets. So this is funny stuff. And then some people was upset because the bars, they ran out of beer. I went to get an orange and like an orange juice thing, and I remember the guy was trying to get a beer, and they said they ran out of beer. That's mad. And they always talk about Caribbean restaurants, yeah. Funny. Well, we don't have that, but you don't have beer at a football match. Madness. And they didn't have loads of other alcoholic drinks for people who wanted them alcoholic drinks. But that's neither here or there. And going on to the undercard now, we had so we'll go with Lyndon Arthur versus Louis Edmondson. I had Louis Edmondson. I predicted that Lyndon Arthur would win on points. I thought his jab would be more active, and then he would start to press forward and just take the initiative, because Louis Edmondson is I find him very negative, and he doesn't ever really come forward like that. And then the fight started out with both men just standing there. Obviously, I said Lyndon Arthur does this whole jittery thing with his knee, and they're both just taking a look at each other. The first round, I don't think either of them landed a punch of in anger or a punch of significance. Literally taking a look at each other, posing. The second round started to get a bit more. Then the third round, Louis Edmondson, it's like he kind of tried to have Lyndon on the rope, but Lyndon's on the ropes firing body shots and uppercuts. And then Lyndon started doing this kind of Mayweather thing, where he's like there and just jabbing, prodding forward, pot shotting. He's pot shotting and he's landing combinations, head and body. Louis Edmondson was very negative. He'd be running around, like dancing around here and there. Then he'd fire a little flashy combination. I think that was like in round 4, but it was nothing. And then I noticed the replays kept trying to highlight Louis Edmondson's work, not taking into account any of Lyndon Arthur's. Lyndon Arthur outworked him, outjabbed him. Louis Edmondson started to tire towards the end, and surprisingly it was a 10 rounder, as I said, for the WBA International title, which I thought would have been 12 rounds, but it was a 10 rounder. And overall I thought that Lyndon Arthur pressed the action more, landed more pot shots, more telling shots, more hurtful shots, and I thought landed more punches and just sort of controlled the fight better, whereas Louis Edmondson was, very slippery and not fire enough really. But then they gave it to him. The scorecards was, got it written down here because sometimes I have these mad brain fogs. Where is it? Yeah, sorry, 96-94, 96-95 and 97-93, all in favour of Louis Edmondson. 97-93, I'm like, wow. Even people on Twittex, I noticed they was all saying they thought Lyndon Arthur won, that it was a robbery. I just said Louis Edmondson's always jammy. He seems to get these decisions all the time. There was a guy replied in the comments, oh, but Louis Edmondson, he should have been going into that fight undefeated anyway because he got robbed against Lappin. I was like, no, because he also won a very got very fortunate and won what people call another robbery decision against Dan Aziz for the British title. I don't think anyone thought that Lewis won that fight, but he got the decision. He got the nod against Dan, and now he's got the nod against Lyndon Arthur. So that's two former European champions. He's got the victory over. He didn't get against Lapin, but he got over two other guys. So he's like, well, let's say he's 2-1 in the so-called close decision. But I think it was quite conclusive that Lyndon Arthur won, and that's really knocked his momentum because he was on a good run. You know, he looked in good shape. Looks in a good place. I know he's been doing very well on social media. Where he's, you know, someone's got to say it. So I think check him out on that page as well. His Instagram is very popping with that stuff. I think he uses TikTok for it as well. I'm not too sure, but definitely on Instagram you should follow him. But yeah, where does Lewis Edmonson go from there? I'm not sure, because he's not TV friendly, but somehow he's getting these results. So he's going to push on and he's going to get himself quite a big fight, I imagine. So yeah, hopefully Lyndon doesn't pack it in, but he just seems to smile and just think, oh, what it is. You know him, he's quite nonchalant when it comes to boxing. Next fight we'll talk about is Brad Pauls versus Brad Goldsmith. I thought Brad Pauls was going to stop Goldsmith, because I remember Brad Goldsmith, when he got stopped by Troy Coleman last year actually, and Troy Coleman just got stopped by Aaron Bowen the other week. Coleman looked too small for him, and yeah, he was landing shots in that because Bowen he's just there to get hit, has zero defense, but he got stopped by Aaron Bowen, and I just thought, yeah, that Brad Pauls would deal with Brad Goldsmith, but boy was I wrong, because Goldsmith too sharp, too accurate, you know, spinning, turning, pivoting, looked very, had all the moves, landing pot shots, landing uppercuts, busted Brad Pauls' mouth in the mid rounds, seemed to, dropped Brad Pauls, even though it wasn't really a drop, it was more of a balance thing, kind of half slip, half balance, but a punch initiated it, so Brad Pauls was a bit pissed off about that, but he got the count, so that's another 10-8 round. And then yeah, Brad Pauls couldn't seem to really land too much. He looked a bit too slow, a bit too heavy footed. Brad Pauls, yeah, he's got some good wins, but when you actually really assess him and you remember how he fights, even I remember when he fought Tyler Denny and that, where he's like, he is a good street fighter, brawler, but skills wise he's just not at the races, is he? And Goldsmith had him beat in all that department when it comes to the skills, paying the bills, and Goldsmith just ran away with it, really, just outboxed him and outpunched him, and yeah, was just landing good artillery and seemed to hurt him a few times, not to the body necessarily, even though he's landed some good shots to the body. It seemed Brad Pauls' body was like, you know, really rock solid, but the head shots and that, some of them seem to be like, oh, okay, but Brad Pauls has always had a good chin, but very conclusive and surprise win there by Brad Goldsmith, so well done to him. Those scorecards was 99-90 times 2 on 2 scorecards, and 97-92 on the other scorecard. So yeah, 99, 90, 98, 91, 97, 92, all that. Yeah, it was very wide. I'm trying to think. I probably did have it like 99, 90 to be fair. And that's got Brad Goldsmith, the IBF international middleweight title. So that's really going to push him on and elevate him. So great win for him there as the B-side fighter on the thing, and the underdog, probably by quite a bit. I didn't actually look on the site, but I imagine he was a favourable underdog in that contest. You had Lasha Gurilli from Georgia, 3-0, and he beat Liam Dillon, who was 16-5-1 going into it. Liam Dillon, former British Commonwealth champion, you know, been through the weights a bit. Got stopped by Reece Bellotti last time out. No, or beat Reece Bellotti last time out, something like that. No, he got beat by Reece Bellotti on points. So Liam Dillon's never been stopped. But Gorelli, 3-0 from Georgia, come in and beat a man of such experience. But Liam Dillon seems to be on the slide, it seems, and might be sort of the benchmarker for the guys up and coming, because the guy 3-0 coming in now 4-0, beat him on points. Even though, to be fair, Liam Dillon was pressing the action all along, but it was just the height and reach deficit was just too much. He was coming in trying to wing, but he was just missing. Gorelli was very agile, so I say, moving around the ring, using the ring well, using his boxing. Did get caught and dropped in the last round, and then Liam Dillon was really hunting for him, and then Gorelli just really ran around the ring, ran circles, kind of like Devin Haney in New York, and survived the round, and then won the decision 76-75. So it was just the ref scoring the fight, and it was an 8-rounder. So yeah, that's Liam Dillon's might have to call it a day, unless he wants to be a gatekeeper type thing. Do you know what I mean? And then Taylor Bevin versus Rashad Luiki, who is also trained by Pat Barrett. And oh yeah, and I remember Billy Joe Saunders was in the ring with that Gorelli actually, and I was surprised to see that. I was like, well, that's interesting. But yeah, Rashad Luiki versus Taylor Bevin. So Taylor Bevin, Southampton guy, born but lives somewhere else now. But he's been on a couple of these Queensberry cards, because I was thinking, why is he on this show? Is he left Matchroom? Because he's boxed twice now on these Queensberry cards. I'm thinking, has he left Matchroom? But there was never any news about it. But then, lo and behold, I found out that he it's because Eddie and Frank have been doing a deal, because the shows have been down in Southampton. It's good to get him out because he's local and he sells tickets. So Eddie just more or less just rents him out. I imagine he gets a what do you call it? A house fee, like a promoter's fee, or they just do a little rent thing behind the scenes. Warren pays him a little rent money, and then loan money, and loans him out, kind of like football, innit? And he did have a big crowd. Always comes in tremendous shape. Yeah, it was a good fight. Taylor Bevin, whacking in shots. Luiki was also very game. Got hurt a few times in there, but stuck it out, rode it out. There was one where he really got hurt, and his gum shield came out, and it seemed like Taylor Bevin was on the route to getting a stoppage. But Luiki stood tough, and he saw it out. But the scores was closer than I thought, really. Even though Taylor Bevin did get caught more than I thought than usual, but the scores was 95-95, and then 97-94. Yeah, it was probably more of a 97-94 or 90. No, 90. I had it 97-93, to be fair. But yeah, two of the judges had it 97-94, and one judge had it a draw, 95-95. So yeah, but Taylor Bevin moves on. That was a 10-rounder, and yeah, decent card. But yeah, shout out to Queensberry, shout out to everyone in attendance. I see my boy Caleb Bowen in there, Paul Bowen, former Southern Area super middleweight champion, cousin of Nigel Benn, / cousin / more uncle of Conor Benn. So yeah, on to the next one. We'll see what's next. And I know also the press conference for Moses Itorma versus Filip Hrgovic is on tomorrow, so that should be interesting. Hopefully can get someone to get down there and get some content and material. But yeah, also I know the football match England versus Garner is on Tuesday, so we might have to, me and Base might have to push the episode back to Wednesday, unless we go really late on Tuesday after the match is done. The match is going to be done what, 11 maybe, 11:15. So I don't know, I'll have to talk to Base and we'll figure it out. But we might just do it Wednesday instead, because we can't do the usual 8:45, because we know you lot are all going to be watching the football. But yeah, make sure you tune into the B&D podcast on probably more likely Wednesday this week. Usually we are on Tuesday, so usually make sure you tune in on Tuesdays at 8:45 for the B&D podcast with myself and Base the Kid. Make sure you follow him also at Base the Kid at the Hardcore Casual, and make sure you're following me at FightFanTvNetwork on YouTube, FightFanTvNetwork on Instagram, FightFanTvNetwork on TikTok, and Danny Glover FFTV on Twitter/X. And until next time, it's Danny Glover from FightFanTvNetwork, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. Big up Ashley Fearfane each and every time. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is. Oh, and also, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Yeah, it's Father's Day, so yeah, I'm going to be celebrating that. And yeah, just making my way back home now. Get out of here, head back home and enjoy the Father's Day. So big up to everyone. Shout out to all the fathers out there. For those of you, anyone who's lost their fathers, thoughts and prayers with you. God bless them and each and every one of us. So yes, thank you. Take care.